So we have no theme today, but I know that the Rodita is going to come with a lot of surprises, and we're going to jump right in. I'm on a streak that I'm hoping to break because I don't want to go first. But let's see what the Rodita has to say, because the Rodita is the final word in sports. And actually, John is going to kick us off this time.
Ooh, it's me. I bet we could definitely do that. What do I got for y'all this week? I don't even know. I wanted to come with something in English, but I saw a comment recently in a podcast which bothered me. And it was a statement that, outside of Mark Anthony, there were no salsa artists that have been produced over the last 20 years, right? And this was, I think it was Arcangel who might have said something like that. And I think he's wrong. And I think that when I play this song and an experience I had in this song outside of not just the US or Dominican Republic, but in Latin America, I think that people should be aware that there are a lot of salseros still active today. And I don't consider myself one, but this is one that I definitely have on my playlist. This is Yiyo Sarante, Corazon de Acero.
Quedarme a tu lado no me dio buen resultado. Siento decirte que al final eso no ha funcionado. Puedes darte cuenta, quien perdió más de la cuenta fuiste tú, te quedas sin amor si es que sientes su ausencia. Y es que mi corazón para tanta desilusión él no fue diseñado. Si esto fue un juego, debiste por lo menos regalarme un corazón de acero. Y siempre fuiste tú que lastimó mi corazón y no fui yo el primero. Te amaba de verdad y ahora solo resentimiento en mí tú puedes provocarme. Hoy vuelvo a respirar. Gracias a ti, a toda tu maldad, hoy logro reemplazarte. ¿Quién iba a imaginar? Necesitaba otras caricias para olvidarte. Pero ¿qué es lo que vamos a hacer? Si esto fue un juego, debiste por lo menos regalarme un corazón de acero. Y siempre fuiste tú que lastimó mi corazón y no fui yo el primero. Te amaba de verdad y ahora solo resentimiento en mí tú puedes provocarme. Hoy vuelvo a respirar. Gracias a ti, a toda tu maldad, hoy logro reemplazarte. ¿Quién iba a imaginar? Necesitaba otras caricias para olvidarte. Hoy vuelvo a respirar. Gracias a ti, a toda tu maldad, hoy logro reemplazarte. ¿Quién iba a imaginar? Necesitaba otras caricias para olvidarte. Necesitaba otras caricias para olvidarte. Necesitaba otras caricias para olvidarte. Necesitaba otras caricias
interesting to me, right, is that outside of Mark Anthony, who I think Anthony has a couple of songs where they've reached the billion status, like the billion views on YouTube, right, which is a monumental feat. I think that this is the only salsero that'll come extremely close to that, right? But one thing I do enjoy about salsa music, even though it's not something that I keep in constant rotation, is something that I also see in rock music and something that not a lot of music genres have today, and it's just live bands playing behind them. And every time I see like an entire live orchestra like just putting a song together in live, I think that's just amazing, and I think it's a good song. I think it's a good composition, and something that's definitely doing pretty well.
I like that song. I think he's got great vocals. Definitely, I don't understand the comparison with Mark Anthony. They're just different artists. Mark Anthony's almost like of a different era, but Mark Anthony has hits in multiple decades. So he's a different artist.
No, no, no. I'm definitely not comparing
No, I
the
mean Arcangel.
two
When you said
per
like
se.
this guy's fresher, he's newer, he's more contemporary. Kind of like they got a new
Well,
vibe.
I think that was his point, and I gotta go back and make sure that it was him. I don't want to be misspeaking. I'm actually gonna try to find the clip to see if we could include it in this episode. It was less about just the fact that there are no more salsa artists, and I think that's the point of view that he was taking. And in reality, no, there's a couple out there, still coming out of a lot of different Latin American countries, and this is just a good example of that. Salsa is not necessarily dead.
I think that's a great song. It's a phenomenal song, and quite frankly, he's a phenomenal artist and a phenomenal salsero. I don't think that anybody can deny it. I mean, I think you put that salsa on and people don't feel it. Like they're not really salseros at this point, right? There's
What woke me up to him is the fact that I was out in Colombia. I obviously knew who he was when I saw the reaction of the people around when that song came on. I was in a bar. It was like so shocking. I was like, really? Like they're listening to this out here? I thought this was confined to like the Northeast, and some of the Caribbean. And no, apparently those 800 million views, almost 900 million views he has, a lot of
no,
that is
especially
coming from
Colombia.
Latin America
There's still,
itself, from
I
multiple
mean, look,
countries within Latin
obviously
America.
like reggaeton, dembow, whatever is what people are listening to, but there's still pretty strong salsa following in
There's
Colombia.
salseros at the core.
Of
And a lot
course,
of people
course.
consume music down there through YouTube, so it doesn't surprise me that that's like
Right,
they're just
right.
that's their
But I will
playlist,
say,
that's their DJ.
if what we're
So,
talking about is an artist of the caliber of Mark Anthony, then I'm not sure that he's wrong. Whoever said it, whether it's Arcangel or whoever. I mean, Mark Anthony is
No, but no. But let me fix that statement. Mark Anthony didn't even come up in the
Gotcha.
interview itself. I added Mark Anthony to the mix to say, like, like outside of Mark Anthony, who I believe is the last big salsero, right? And what a lot of people interpret as the last big salsero, there's still a lot of people within that genre still who have their own movements and they're still putting out music. So I think that was the point that I was trying to make to sort of like rebuke what he was saying, which is like, no, there's no more salsa artists. It's a completely dead genre. And it's like, no, it's not a completely
Yeah,
dead
I
genre.
mean, I
There's
think
still
that's I
artists
think
out
that's
there who are
fair.
being pretty
I
successful
will
at it.
say, although you say you're not a salsero, this is the second salsa that you put as your song. So I'm just putting that out there. It's not like we got 100 episodes, right?
Yeah,
But
no,
clearly,
there's very few
clearly
in my
you are
playlist, I can
putting
assure you.
those
I think
against the
my
only thing in the world that doesn't lie, and that's that damn ruleta that we're gonna go into. So let's see what the ruleta has to say about this.
okay, whatever you say.
that all just translated to
And
funny business in the back
Kenny
end
is
while we're not
actually gonna
watching. I'm
go.
just saying.
I wonder if you make it. I wonder if you make it stop too.
He's manipulating it. He's manipulating it. He's manipulating it.
All right. Well, for me, again, guys, it's my same theme. It's either got to be the music just like captures me, like just the musical arrangement, or the vocalist has to be on par, or just the the lyrics. I'm pretty sure you both heard this song, and if you haven't, you were dead for part of the time and you were resuscitated at some point in your life. Because there's Coldplay Clocks, which to me, when it comes to putting together, just like the arrangement of those pieces and the way the beat hits, to me, there are very few pieces out there that for me anyway, uh, can strike that chord. So let me let's get to it. I'll just leave it there. You know, it's interesting because one of the things that true rock fans, they don't like this song. They're like, oh, it's not a true rock song. For the criticism, and the criticism is the reason why I like
It's not.
the song. It blends in a lot more than just, you know, hard riff, and it has a lot going on that I thought they did in some respects masterfully, including sort of like the lyrics of the song, which I like a lot.
Look, I've obviously heard that song a million times, right? And I was just thinking about this. Has that ever hit my playlist? And the answer is no, right? But it's not a song that bothers me to listen to hear it, right? It's weird, right? Because I like the song, but not enough for me to like go out of my way to play it. Like, not enough to like the amount of clicks that I have to do to like actually play that song. No, right. But one thing that's interesting, which I just realized, is that when I played the Tiago PZK song a couple of episodes back, you had a huge problem with the amount of repetitiveness in the right? And it's like over here, he's doing the exact same thing with the ooh. As a matter of fact, I want to go back and do a count of each song, and then I want to get into your brain and understand like why does it bother you on one side but not in the other. You understand what I'm saying? Because there was a lot of that going on this song as well. If you actually pay attention to the repetition of that particular piece, which is very similar to what I'm pointing out from the Tiago.
Hell no. like, are you kidding me? Like, I mean,
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
even like,
Why so? I mean, let's talk about it. Let's talk
I
about
mean,
it.
we don't even
I don't know
let's
if
talk
you
talk
wanna say
about
what
about
he
it.
means to
Like,
talk about. He does
it's-
say throughout the whole song.
Yeah, repetitively, which is very similar. And again, I want to do a count to the Thiago song to see who says it more. And if I just counted correctly, I think it's said more here. Yeah, that was problematic for you in the other song. So I'm just trying to like get into like your mental and understand you, son. You know what I mean?
Listen, that other song, and look, I like you said, it doesn't bother you. That other song, I don't know how many clicks, whatnot. And I'm not trying to be like combative. I'm just like, I'll never listen to that song again.
I think Coldplay is very divisive. At
Absolutely.
least when you talk to like people like rock fans or even like just general people, either like Coldplay or they really hate Coldplay for some odd reason. I'm kind of like you, John, but I'm a little different. It's not in my playlist, but I'm interested in adding it because listening to it here doesn't do it justice, particularly since Kenny said is the composition, right? And so I want to listen to it again just so I can listen to all the instruments and listen to how it was put together. It does give you, and this is part of the knock that like people say about Coldplay, their stuff does sound similar because it does give you a Viva La Vida vibe, right? Like there are parts of that song that you're like, oh, that sounds very similar to that song. And again, maybe, you know, that's part of the reason why they get knocked on and they're considered, I guess, more pop than rock. I don't know. I don't get into those fights.
I went through a rock phase. I don't consider
they're not
myself
a true rock band.
aficionado, right? But I've never considered them a rock
They're more
band.
like alternative,
something a little
kind of
bit more
like, again,
alternative,
swing
like,
into
you know,
pop
supersonic,
rather than
et cetera,
true
like
rock,
people
which
like
is
that.
why I think they're not appreciated by the genre sort of like purists, if you will. But I'm gonna listen to that song again, just if for no other reason, because I like the general vibe of the song. I do agree with you that there's a bunch of repetition, and honestly, I find that part of the song super annoying. But the rest of the instruments and the rest of the composition, I think, is enough for me to actually put it and listen to it, because I am interested in understanding, like,
Yeah,
how
yeah,
do they
yeah, yeah.
mix it? You know, like, exactly
100%.
what are they doing? How do they put the different instruments? And when we're listening to it here, I just cannot appreciate that. But I was sitting here thinking, why haven't I been listening to this song more?
Yeah, I mean, there is an art form to good engineering, right? There is a true art form to that, and sometimes some of the songs, it's more about that than it is even about the lyricists, right? It's about like did the engineers, both from a composition perspective and also from a mix perspective, like did they do a great job, right? That you would be like, well, I wish I was in the studio with this guy when he was, mixing this, right?
Look, I'm gonna change my song completely just because Ken went down the composition route, and that's why I didn't want to go first. I wanted to see like where we were going. The song that I'm gonna share with y'all is a song that you've heard, even if it's in the background. And what I'm hoping is that you haven't heard it with the ear of just the composition and the instruments, and really trying to dig into it, because this is why it's such a famous song. And honestly, I didn't appreciate it. I listened to it and I was like, okay, this is a cool song. And then I listened to it with that ear of, again, the way that the voices sound like instruments, but also the way that the instruments are blended in, and there is a mastery to the engineering. But you can't engineer a bad song with mastery, right? It still needs to be a great composition. And so with that, let's
Right.
uh let's listen to this here.
Now here you go again. You say you want your freedom. Well, who am I to keep you down? It's only right that you should play the way you feel it. But listen carefully to the sound of your loneliness, like a heartbeat drives you mad. In the stillness of remembering what you had and what you lost and what you had and what you lost. Oh, thunder only happens when it's raining. Players only love you when they're playing. Say women, they will come and they will go. When the rain washes you clean, you know. Now here I go again. I see the crystal vision. I keep my visions to myself. It's only me who wants to wrap around your dreams and have you any dreams you like yourself. Dreams of loneliness, like a heartbeat drives you mad. In the stillness of remembering what you had and what you lost. What you had, oh, what you lost. Thunder only happens when it's raining. Players only love you when they're playing. Women, they will come
stop it there.
You will know.
I'll just say that that's like top 10 in my playlist. Like all songs. It's I got a playlist that I call it's called Cool Breeze. It's just songs like that that are just like you could just play them in the car and you just stepping in the in the gas. I think what I like about it is it's simplistic and yet masterful, right? Like if you look at the drum, right, it's a typical beat. It's just like the tempo of it and the way it's played. I think just makes it stand out. How they blend the other elements. I thought it was. I mean, again, it's a song that I've listened to a lot, and it's just this one mood where it's sort of like life is chilled. Like I said, the playlist is called Cool Breeze, and I just got songs like that where you're just chilling, you're cruising. I think it's a great song.
Fair enough. Look, I'm not. For me, that was complicated. Nah, I don't have a playlist that I can fit that into it. As I'm thinking of the song and I'm listening to the entire composition, in reality,
It's
I don't
77.
have. What year is that from? That's like 70s or something like that. Yeah, like from the hippie movement and that sort of era. I don't have anything outside of maybe the Doors on my playlist, which I have a couple of Doors songs. For me, it's just not something that I would subscribe to. A lot of it has to do with just personal taste on music genres. I'm pretty sure that it's like, you know, great for the people that like that type of music. And I'm not saying it's a bad song, right? I know who Fleetwood Mac is. Obviously, anybody with a heartbeat should know who Fleetwood Mac is. And I'm pretty sure I've heard that somewhere in my background, but nothing I've ever paid attention to until right now. And even after paying attention
I
to
think
it, it's
that's
not something
fair.
that
I
I
mean,
think
look,
I'll
there's
throw on one of my
different
playlists, to
things
be
for
honest.
different people. That is definitely high on my rotation of songs. It's actually the song that I use when I want to show people how good hi-fi headphones are. So when I go up to people and I'm like, "Hey, try these headphones on," that is literally the song that I go to. Because throughout the song there are elements that you will hear that you're like, oh my god, I didn't
Yes.
even know there was like a cowbell coming on the back of my left ear. And the way that they intertwine the choruses throughout the song, I mean, it's pretty masterful. As Kenny said, the drum, when the drum kicks in, it's like, okay, it's a simple drum that really does the trick. The album itself, of which that is the most famous song in that album, is considered one of the top albums of all time. But I'm not a big sort of, I don't prescribe too much like top albums of all time, because like Sgt. Pepper's from the Beatles is one of them, and I've listened to that album a lot and I hate it a lot. So whatever happens. But I will say that again, back to composition, which is why I chose it. That is literally my go-to song when people are like, "Hey, how good are those headphones?" I'm like, listen to this song. And it's because the clarity in, again, the engineering, the clarity in the instruments, the melody, the melodic sound, and then the use of the chorus panning from your left to your right. Like there was a lot going on in that song that I don't think you can appreciate by listening to it on YouTube, where it's like, oh, it literally
Yeah, yeah,
sounds like
yeah,
there's
yeah,
people
yeah.
behind you. Right. And never mind the fact that I thought it generally, I think is a really, really good song. But it doesn't fall in there.
I think it's a timeless classic. It's funny that John mentioned the era, because to me, I'm like, there's nothing that feels that 70s about it, right? Like it's just like I said, the drum is not like the most complicated drum. It's just
I gotta
it's just it.
disagree with you there. It sounds very 70ish, like mid 70s, maybe late 70s. I don't know what year it's from, but to me, like
I,
if I heard that song out there, it would transport me to what I envision as what people in
it's
that
funny
era were listening
because
to for some
that
reason.
song, and I'm looking at the playlist that I got Harry Styles, Watermelon Sugar, like it's got that same vibe. I got Candy Rain from like Soul for Real, like it's all songs that has this vibe.
I recommend that if
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
looking
yeah, yeah.
for like engineering, if you're looking for that, if you got an ear for that and you're there, it's a good song if for nothing else for that. because literally that's what I use it for. But it's a real cool. I think Kenny put it well. It's like a cool breeze. I'm going to the beach kind of thing. But on that note, this is a great episode, and I do hope, John, that you give
All right.
Dreams another shot, and in your cool breeze playlist when you're going down to the beach. Yeah, exactly.
It might
All
to
right.
be created.
Later, guys.
Sounds good. Sounds
All
good.
right, guys.